Live from the Score Atlanta Television Studios in North Atlanta. This is Georgia High School Sports Daily, powered by IBEW Local 613.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Craig Sager. I'll be joined by Najee Wilkins today in the opening segment for the Fast Break headlines. And then we have a special lineup today on Friday. We will have Brittany Hughes, that is Lassiter swimming and dive coach. They've established themselves as the premier powerhouse. They won their 6th straight state championship. I'm really excited to talk to them about their great performance in the championships. We'll have Bud Hennebaul on. He is with the Atlanta Takedown Association, one of the leaders of GHSA Wrestling. And then Najee Wilkins had a great interview, two actually, yesterday that he filmed. We'll close the show out with those. We'll get the exclusive with the Grayson Rams. But let's go ahead and welcome Najee onto the show, and also want to say happy Valentine's Day to everyone. What an awesome day. All right, Najee, how's it going?
It's going good, man. I see you are actually prepared for Valentine's Day. You got your red on.
I know I haven't wanted to wear red since the Super Bowl, but I had to make an exception today.
Yeah, 100%. Let's good on you, man. Let's good.
I appreciate it. All right, so Najee, let's just start off with the interviews you filmed that we're going to close the show. Why did you want to set this up and highlight these players, and what do you think they're going to mean just for the Grayson program moving forward?
They're going to be pivotal. There's a lot of great players at the Grayson program. We look at Tyler Atkinson. You look at Anthony Davis. You look at the quarterback Travis Burgess. Their great running back room, great coach with Gene Carswell. Also, their head coach Centavious Bryant, Coach Sikowski. They got so many great pieces in there. But an underrated part of that team last year was their secondary, and they had a lot of young guys step up. One of the guys, who was obviously a senior and graduated, was Vaughn Mitchum. He had 2 interceptions in that state championship game against Carrollton, against Juju Lewis, who's now obviously Colorado. Without him and that defense stepping up in that way, I don't know if they win that game. And they had some young thoroughbreds step up. Riley Drews of the world had a coming out party against Thompson, a top team in Alabama, who I believe made a state final this past year. And you had London Goggins, who was getting in the rotation and made some big plays this year, 12 tackles against Norcross. So I wanted to highlight those players, obviously what they did this year, and the future for Grayson. It's going to be spectacular. They got some phenomenal players, and Riley Drew and London Goggins, I think, are the next stars on the defensive side of the ball here in our sport. Riley Drew was just featured in Tom Lemming when he went out and obviously interviewed several Georgia players. He's obviously a recruiting and national analyst for CBS Sports, so able to get him into the studio, let him do an interview is huge because he's going to be the next big prospect here in the state.
Yep, and that will be segment 4 and 5. Obviously, Grayson handled business against Newton last night in boys basketball. A solid win. I got to say, though, something about this season, I think Wheeler has a team that's going to give them a lot of problems. Grayson's super athletic. They definitely can match you in that department, but just watching them play against Newton, it seemed a little frantic at times. And I feel like if Wheeler has the poise this year and they can limit the turnovers and not get overwhelmed by just the pressure of Grayson, I think Wheeler could pull off a big upset. But back to Grayson, it's so amazing what's happening at that school just the last few years on the girls' side and then the boys' side. Even a sport like baseball, them making that historic run last year to the finals, beating teams like Parkview and Brookwood in the region, establishing that sport, winning the football state title, winning the basketball for the first time. You spoke with these young men from Grayson. What do you think is just special about maybe the culture at that school, the work ethic, and just how they've been able to be so successful in such a competitive environment?
That's the word that you just said right there, the competitive environment. I mean, I think that pretty much sums up this Grayson Rams program, right? You're going to hear it in the interview when you talk to him, when Riley Drew talks about competitive Tuesdays, right? And how you basically at Grayson, right? A lot of people don't know this. You have to earn your spot, right? And I'm not just talking about off season. I'm saying every single week you are competing against your teammates, the best of the best, and you have to earn your spot. There is no giving because you had a big game last week, 2 interceptions or whatever it may be, that you get your spot back. No, you're back on the gridiron, competing for your spot every single week. And if you don't come up the fray and you're not playing at the high optimal level, you will not start. You will be in rotation. So Grayson does not play that. That's the reason why they are, obviously one of the standards here in the state. They compete at a high-end level every single week. And if you're not up to snuff, you won't see the field.
Yeah, that is certainly a different approach. So that's called Competitive Tuesdays.
Yeah, you're gonna hear about it. Yes, competitive Tuesdays, and he said like
Interesting.
that's what makes them different.
Well, I wonder what they did when they had the 5 straight off weeks. Was that just a competitive 5 weeks last season?
I think so, for sure,
Man.
and I think that's why they were able to overcome it. Remember, Craig, they had 5 games in 18 days.
Yep, that's right. They had the reverse. Man. Well, before we get into these fast break headlines, just some results I want to go over last night. I was doing the scoreboard, of course. It's always interesting to see some of these big matchups. We saw the Milton girls played Roswell. They got the win. I think that was a 12-6 victory. So Milton, they look back to form. On the baseball side, I thought one of the bigger results we saw, the Weber School, they made that great run last year, I think, to the semifinals. They beat Pace Academy last night 2-1. That's a huge win for them. They will probably move up in the rankings after that. And then we do have that big lacrosse game tonight. It's going to be Buford against Roswell, one of the biggest games. There's not too many tonight. I feel like teams don't want to schedule those Valentine's Day games, but that certainly is one to watch. All right, well, let's go ahead. We'll get into it with headline number 1. I will start things off. Some sad news from Wheeler. Wheeler football coach Jeff Hollis passed away earlier this month. He is the winningest coach in Wheeler high school football history. Passed away at 81 years old. He led Wheeler to 4 region titles during a tenure from 1985 to 1994 that included 7 straight seasons of double-digit victories. During that time, Wheeler went 84-33. He was one who was not necessarily coaching the game. He was coaching the players, said Dave McDonald, the former longtime Wheeler baseball coach who also served as his defensive coordinator on the teams. He was a sharp coach. He was always on top of it. Hollis left Wheeler and went to Cherokee after that, spent 3 seasons with the Warriors. He also coached for 43 years total, including 23 as a head coach. He was the head coach at Lovett from 77 to 81, North Forsyth from 2002 to 2006, and overall at those destinations, he went 142 and 116. He was inducted into the Wheeler High School Sports Hall of Fame in 2013. He also taught outdoor education and health at the school. That memorial service will be in Dahlonega, February 28th, visitation to follow. So just a coach that has been all around the state of Georgia, was at Wheeler. That was where Corky Kell also coached back in the day. And some sad news, but he will get honored and recognized right there.
For sure. All right, headline number 2, Sequoia. They take down Sprayberry 54-48 in Region 6 semifinals. They punched their ticket with a 54-48 victory. The Chiefs and Sprayberry split their regular season meetings, but Sequoia prevailed behind a 23-point game from Kate Lomas. The Chiefs controlled the rebounding and transition games while forcing the Yellow Jackets to settle for contested perimeter shots. Their coach said this: "It was all about defense. I told our guys we just had to prevent them from getting in the paint. That was the number one thing. We know they like to drive the ball and get in the paint. We knew if we could play in the gaps and prevent the drives that we'd be able to stop them. We had to hold them to one shot, and we did a phenomenal job of that." The Chiefs advanced to play Riverwood, who's obviously a state champion from last year, in 6A on Friday night. I also want to mention, I know we're going to go to our next headline, but I want to shout out Lovett. They had a big win, Craig. They beat number 4 Kip Atlanta. Cameron King continues the ball. He had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 steals, and Ryan King dropped 17 points. And Mount Perrin wanted me to shout them out on the show as well. They hit me up. They ended up beating Kings Ridge, Walker in the quarterfinals on the road, and Mount Bethel in the semifinals last night, 66-58 en route to the championship game. Craig, they are competing in their first ever region championship game, and they look to get their first ever region championship title as well. They play the winner of St. Francis and Best Academy, played a tough non-region schedule against Pope, South Cobb, and Hillgrove, but wanted me to give them some love on the show.
Yep, it's huge, and I love it. Great job on proving me wrong. I dropped them out of the rankings. But what's interesting about this, if they win this region, they're, of course, going to go into that private division. This will help them get the higher seed before they split off. So that was certainly a huge result, handling business against Kip Atlanta. All right, we're going to get into some wrestling news right here, headline 3. But before we do that, just want to talk about some horrible news. Yesterday, it looks like Jefferson wrestler Dominic Haynes, competing in the 144-pound match, was severely injured and hospitalized last night. A pretty scary situation. Our prayers are certainly with them. We will probably hear more about this later on, but just a tough situation overall for everyone involved, and just really scary stuff. But let's look real quick at the Savannah area wrestlers that look to medal at the traditional tournament this week. They will continue today and tomorrow in Macon. You got South Effingham, which won the 6A team title last year. It's down in its enrollment, so they went down to 5A this year. They have a contingent of 11 wrestlers out of the 14 weight classes. That's a huge mark. We usually see the teams that win always have at least 10 wrestlers qualified. That will give them a great chance with that depth. Mustang senior Moose Springer is looking to win it all after finishing third last year. You also have teams like Effingham County, Beach, Calvary Day, Islands, Jenkins, Benedictine, New Hampstead, Richmond Hill, all qualifying. And then, of course, the girls qualifiers also.
100%. All right, real quick. Buford outlasted Collins Hill to capture another region championship. Huge for their program. They showed a ton of fight down the stretch. Elijah Skerritt put the Eagles up front 55-54 with 1:01 remaining in the game after splitting a pair of free throws, and it was short-lived. Cotton knocked out of the game at 55-55 after splitting a pair of his free throws for the Wolves' ensuing possession, and Kyle Carpenter put them back in front after stealing a pass and converting 1 or 2 of his free throws with 15.3 to go. Trailing by 56-55 with 6.2 seconds remaining, the Eagles had an opportunity to steal the win at the buzzer, but Richards' layup attempt was missed to seal the victory for the Wolves. Nixon led the way for the Wolves with 17 points, 8 in the fourth quarter. Williams was close behind with 16 points as well.
All right, we got one more headline to hit real quick. Peachtree Ridge captures its second consecutive region championship. They defeated Norcross 62-49, big victory for the Lions. They were facing a 1-5 start early in December. Since then, head coach Jordan Griffin has seen his team change and make much needed adjustments. He said, tonight felt really good. We worked hard for this. We didn't have a great start to the season, and to be sitting here as region champs representing the #1 seed in the state tournament means a lot. They had a great win over their rival Norcross. They talked about how fast Norcross plays, averaging more than 60 points per game. They're able to slow it down, hold them to a low point total, just 49 points, and get that win. Another team that had a big region championship last night was the Westminster Wildcats. Big accomplishment for them. So it's a team where, I mean, you see Norcross playing very well, but a big result for them and a confidence boost heading into the playoffs. But that's it for segment 1. We'll be back on the other side with Brittany Hughes, Lassiter swim and diving coach.
Great teams are committed, focused on the details, and work hard to be their best. From practice to games, right down to their gear. Your field is a critical part of the game that allows your athletes to showcase their athletic abilities. Sports Turf is committed to bringing your team innovative sports surfaces with unparalleled performance. You bring the vision. Our team brings it to life.
This makes my dad proud. He went through his whole career as an employee. Now I'm the employer, something he didn't achieve.
We are signatory to IBEW and do IBEW people wherever we go that we feel like they are faster and better than any of our competition.
The advantages of being a signatory contractor is you're trained employees. You have unlimited manpower. It allows me to bid on jobs that I ordinarily would not go after.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Man, you know how to do this?
Man, I don't even know. I was flipping burgers last week.
Violation, unsportsmanlike conduct, impersonating a craftsman.
Skilled trade unions are well-trained career pros, not part-timers. Construction is a rewarding and lucrative career with the advancement potential, but you have to do it the right way with the right training. Learn how you can be a pro. Find your career at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. Electrify your career.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now, we will welcome on Brittany Hughes, Lassiter swim and diving head coach, and looks like she has some Trojans with her, ready to talk about this big state championship victory. How's it going, ladies? Can you guys hear us?
Do you think we need to move to the microphones?
Yeah, we've got audio. Looks like we have the whole squad right there. Okay, we can bring them back on. So this was their sixth straight swimming state championships, their 11th in the last 20 years. They had a strong finish in Class 5A this year. They beat Pope, who finished second, Johns Creek third, and they had 411 total points. Afterwards, Coach Hughes said they had great times in the relays. They placed top at most of the events. They started to pull away after Katie Bradley won the 500 freestyle in a time of 4 minutes, 55 seconds, 49 hundredths of a second. And then Finley Jollins won the 100 backstroke in 54:43. She was also part of that relay team. Can they hear us?
Yes.
Awesome. Got you guys. All right, well, Coach Hughes, I want to start with you. I mean, this was a kind of a new classification for you guys, but I mean, you're the defending champs going for that sixth straight. What did this championship mean for the program and just what you guys were able to do this season?
Yeah, so I think these girls are all amazing. We have a great mixture of older 4 seniors, a couple juniors, and then some pretty young girls. So I think the leadership of the seniors really helped the younger girls get excited for what's to come and kind of motivate them. We had amazingly strong individuals and relays, great leadership. So it's just a great overall week season for the team.
And then, Coach, you have 4 seniors, I think, that you just mentioned, all going to D1 schools at the next level. Obviously, I mean, this season to them, it's pretty much just the start for them. They got big things ahead. Just talk to us about where they're going to go at the next level and what you saw from them just throughout their careers at Lassiter, how they helped lift up the program.
Yeah. So I think all of them, obviously Swim for Lassiter, have been at Lassiter all 4 years. They all compete with club teams. What I think is really cool about high school swimming is just their ability to practice with their club, participate in their club meets, kind of work on their recruiting, but then come be such a bright light, I guess, with the high school team, right? It shows that real, sportsmanship and team playerness, and I think they all are going to do great at the next level with that because they've been part of such a strong team. I'll let them kind of say their name and what school they're going to, just to kind of...
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm Finley Jollins, and I'm swimming at the University of Minnesota next year.
I'm Kate Bradley, and I'm going to the University of Arkansas next year.
I'm Maggie O'Shaughnessy, and I'm going to Colgate University next year.
And I'm Rose Jones, and I'm going to University of Wyoming.
All right. Well, that quartet, I believe you guys were all on the relay team together. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And so was that the freestyle relay? Which one was that?
It was the 400 freestyle relay, so the last relay of the meet. So there was a lot of energy and a lot of fun, and it was really fun to be able to all do it together. So.
Absolutely. And Coach, I have a question for you. I mean, you guys kind of know the times you guys are going to need after the region competitions, the county. What did you just see on the championship meet? Just the excitement once you guys started racking up the wins, just how the team came together and was able to build off that excitement.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this year they were first in the region, second at county, a close, great meet, but we swim different teams at our county meet and our state meet. So another cool thing is at state you swim teams that you don't swim during the normal season. And a lot of times these girls know some of the other competitions, so how they kind of work together to spread out their events. I think something that we're definitely going to miss is all 4 of these girls swam different individual events. So they covered all 8 individual events. So that's huge. But definitely having them be at the top, having great relay, having the energy from the younger girls, kind of filling in those spots definitely brings up the excitement throughout the meet. And during the meet, you can kind of see where the standings are. You see the scores. So it's really exciting to to watch as they keep racking up the points.
Yeah, and it looks like you mentioned Finley. She won the 50-yard freestyle. Kate, she won the 100-yard fly. Rose, 100-yard freestyle. And then to come together in the relay team to close it off. Talk just about the practice and how much work you guys put in to be able to show up and be able to handle multiple events at that level.
Who wants to do that?
We all
practice a lot.
Yeah, we do practice
Yes.
a lot. We practice with our club teams. We're all part of Stingrays, all four of the seniors, and so it's super fun to like get to train with all these girls every day. And although we swim separate events for club or for high school, we swim similar events in club, so we really get to train with each other and like push each other every day. And it takes a lot of work in the off season, but the fun part is coming to these high school meets and getting to swim for your high school and swim for your team.
And then it looks like you guys racked up 411 total points. I mean, where does that kind of stack up to some of the other championships you've had, just how successful you guys were this year?
I think all 4 years we've all like really been able to pull through and like get our individuals like in a high placement. And I think that it was really cool that all of us have been able to do that. I think pretty much all of us were in A final in all of our events at all 4 years for the most part. So yeah, that's pretty cool to be able to do that all 4 years and have that opportunity. And we were all able to be in the top 10 in all of our events, like especially our senior year too. So it was really cool to be able to end on such a great note. Yeah.
So
I think
continue. Sorry about that.
Point-wise, I feel like it kind of stayed very similar. I feel like the last 4 years they've won by a pretty large margin, even though like a couple of years, like this year, the classification was a little different. People have moved up, people have moved down. They've like held pretty strong at the top. And I think, like Rose said, having those individual events is huge, and then having them to spread out over the relays.
Yeah, and Coach Hughes, walk us through just the recruitment process. We mentioned all four of those ladies going to D1 schools. Obviously very talented. They're swimming in club too, but did you guys have maybe a signing day celebration, or when did that recruitment process come together and where they all were able to land where they wanted to go?
Well, honestly, a lot of that is on them and their families, their club coaches, kind of like making sure they advertise and reach out to coaches and share their times and their commitment to the sport. I think all four of them verbally committed last year as juniors, and then did the official signing this year. And we had a special little signing day ceremony for them at Lassiter with their families and their friends and their club swimmers and their club coaches. So that was really cool to get to talk about them individually and recognize them for that. So yeah.
And then Coach, what are you most proud of, just what you saw from your team this year, being able to just live up to the standard, get better as the season goes, maybe some unselfishness? What was the most impressive part?
Honestly, yes, what you just said, kind of like the unselfishness, taking the individual aspect of swimming and putting it to a team is something that's really challenging and doesn't always go super smooth. But I think everyone here like understands kind of the Lassiter tradition of the last 6 years, to really work together to build the strongest lineup, to make sure everyone's comfortable, to cheer for each other, and kind of instill all of those values into the younger girls. So I think that they did a great job with that.
All right. Well, Coach and ladies, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Congratulations. And we look forward to seeing you guys go for number 7 next year.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Go Trojans. All right. So there you have it. Very impressive group. One more time. So Finley, she's going to Minnesota. Kate Bradley, Arkansas. Rose Jones. I think that was that Colgate? Yeah, I might be missing one, but you see 4 girls going to the next level to swim. Be sure to follow them. They'll be representing Lassiter well. All right, we'll be back on the other side to catch up with Bud Hennebaul about some wrestling.
Georgia High School Sports Daily is presented by GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com. Transform your future today. And by Smart Local 85. Sheet metal is a smart move.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia High School Sports Daily. Right now, we will catch up with Bud Hennebaul of the Atlanta Takedown Association, GHSA Wrestling, someone that has been pivotal in growing the sport in the state. So welcome, Bud, onto the show. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. So I want to start out, just walk us through the Atlanta Takedown Association, how that was founded, and what you've been working on with that.
Okay. The Atlanta Takedown Association was the actual booster club for Georgia State University's wrestling team back when they had a team back in the 90s. It's a bunch of former wrestlers' parents and things that wanted to stay around the sport and give back to wrestling. It's headed up by a gentleman named Gary Schaefer, who's been the president, I believe, since like 1996, and it stayed intact. And I believe it was 2003, trying to find something to do to stay a part of wrestling. We met with Mr. Gary Phillips, who was the director of the wrestling, associate director for GHSA at the time, and we convinced Gary to give us a chance to try to run the state championships for the Georgia High School Association. And with that, I don't know, here we are today, some 21 years later, with the same group of people, do the same things every year.
Yep. And then talk a little bit about that. It was the all classification state wrestling championships, having the idea to bring them all in one location. I think the numbers there, when it started, 2,016 wrestlers, 3,822 matches. I mean, how unprecedented was that at the time to pull off?
We were the largest high school state championships in the nation at the time. It was an unbelievable event. Still is today. It's a little smaller now because we have the smaller brackets. We don't do the 5 classifications with 32-man brackets, but it's just been an amazing thing, and it's just such a great experience, for the kids. But we were recognized nationally. Everybody just couldn't believe what we were doing here in Georgia.
Yeah, and it looks like you originally grew up in Pennsylvania. You came down to Georgia. You saw this opportunity, and then another thing you've been working on is just training the next, I guess, generation of officials. So, I mean, how has that been maybe rewarding for you and helped keep up with the sport?
The growth and the training of these officials has been amazing. I believe we have 3 or maybe even 4 first-time officials at the state championships down here in Macon right now, and it's just, and they're really good officials too. And it's nice to know that the future of our sport is going to be in good hands long after we're gone.
And then looks like you also coach at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. I know that's a great wrestling program, lots of big-time wrestling in Tennessee, lots of Georgia guys go up to those schools. What's your overall sense of what you've seen in the college landscape on the growth of wrestling?
Well, the growth of wrestling is really strong in college, and mostly you're seeing it in the smaller universities, smaller colleges. Life University, for one, Reinhardt University here in Georgia, have had very, very successful teams with National Coaches of the Year. College wrestling's the NCAA tournament, which I've got a really big part in as the director of the operations for that tournament. That is the most exciting wrestling tournament in the world every year. There'll be 18,000 people for 6 sessions in Philadelphia this year, and it's just an amazing event, and it's a really, really tough ticket to go to that event.
And then currently you serve on multiple boards, just overseeing various organizations in the sport of wrestling. What's kind of your task or role now, just working with the GHSA?
Well, I've been the tournament director and, kind of did everything. I've done everything together with Gary Schaefer. I'm going to move into a position, a role now with the GHSA, overseeing the wrestling for Dr. Scott. We've been under really good leadership with a gentleman named Don Core, who's going to move on to some other things within the within Georgia High School. But yeah, I'm here to try to help in any way we can to just keep growing it and making the championships better for these kids and coaches.
And then when you decided to start doing the all classification, has it always been the dual season and then the traditional, or how has that morphed over the years? Yes, well, we didn't have the duals back when we started this, but the duals are something that has evolved, and that is so exciting. Those dual state championships, we have put them back in the high schools. More people can see them, but the dual state championships are a fantastic event. But we're trying to push and promote both, and with the help of the Georgia Wrestling Coaches Association and a number of different organizations, we've been really successful with that. And then just when you see the girls wrestling get off the ground and grow like it has, what's your sense of just where you see the future of that? The girls wrestling is going to continue to grow with leaps and bounds. We are now, I think, I believe we're a little over 8,000 high school boys wrestlers, probably about 8,400 in the state, and we're up to 2,200 girls in just a very short period of time. The girls wrestling is really helping wrestling overall. It just has brought so much more attention, and our girls in Georgia. It's really exciting to see how good they're getting in a short period of time. Yep, certainly. I mean, I remember some of the first girls that qualified for state wrestling against the boys. Now they have their own division. Just real quick, when's the time of year where you really try to get some new officials trained and ready to go? When do you guys go through maybe that training process? We typically, when school's returning, we start having meetings and training, and we officiate on the mat and get the senior officials working with the younger officials. But during the summer, like this summer, there's a weekend in June. It'll be the first weekend, like a Second-year high school on a Friday, and then on Archer High School on a Saturday. We'll probably have 150 to 200 referees around the state come in, and I bring in the top level NCAA people, the Big Ten coordinator officials, the Big 12. There'll be the actual referees that officiate the finals of the Division I championships. We'll bring them in to help work with our guys, and it's just a great couple days of training. All right, well, Bud, thank you so much for the insight. Great job. Congrats on everything you've done to help grow the sport. We look forward to catching up with you later on. We appreciate it. Awesome. Take care. Have a great day. Yep. All right. Well, there goes Bud Hennebaul of the Atlanta Takedown Association and the tournament director. Don't go anywhere. We got some interviews with the Grayson Rams on the other side.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Dang, where you get this car?
You need to join the union.
The union?
Absolutely. You can get 10 of these.
Union construction workers earn the highest wages with the best benefits and the most protection in the construction industry. Find your career in construction. Go to GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com and start your future today.
A journeyman with Local 85, when you turn out, you can be hitting six figures.
Hey, I have your back, you have my back. We're gonna do this together. We're one for all for one.
College just wasn't for me. Let's look into actual career jobs that wouldn't take college, where I wouldn't, lose money and all that. Instead of losing a lot more money at the end, why not make money and make more money at the end?
What happens after you graduate? Will you go to the next level? Will people have your back in the heat of the battle? Will you still train like a champion in pursuit of greatness? You will when you become an IBEW electrician. Join our team. Visit IBEW613.org.
All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Najee Wilkins. Blessed to be here today by two lovely guests from Grayson High School. Without further ado, I'm going to let them do the honors.
London Goggins, class of 2027, safety.
Riley Drew, class 2027, DB.
All right, there you have it. So, wanted to bring them in here. Underrated part of this Grayson football team this past year was the defensive back room. Had several guys step up. Obviously, Jalen Bell. We know about Vaughn Mitchum, who we'll talk to here in just a little bit. But two underrated 2027 guys I had the pleasure of seeing early on at a young age, especially during their freshman years, and was in awe. But I want to just ask you, London, just rate your sophomore year. You did really big things out there, 29 tackles, 3 PBUs. You were a big part of this defense. Talk a little bit about that.
I just felt like I contributed very, very well when I got the chance to. And whenever I got the chance to get on the field, I feel like I did my part.
100%. Now, Riley, you had a couple, coming out parties. I think one of your best games was against Thompson. Talk about that game first and foremost when you were kind of on that big stage, but you put the world on notice.
I want to say, I'm grateful for all the opportunities my coaches gave me. That game was just set the standard for myself, so and I just want to keep bettering myself and all that. So yeah.
Now y'all play for a really great program at Grayson, obviously Powers. What would y'all tell others to be ready for y'all moment, like both of you guys were, and being able to flourish, when you got the opportunity?
Just be ready. Just stay ready. Your time's coming. I always pray. Just keep praying. I kept praying for opportunity after opportunity, and whenever your time comes, just stay ready. That's all I gotta say.
I want to say, whenever your time comes, just be prepared. Don't be underprepared, because when you're underprepared, you're not going to be able to finish your job. So basically just come in prepared, being unexpected and all that. So
100%. Now, I want to talk about a game, London, where you absolutely balled out. I don't know if you remember, but against Norcross, you had 12 tackles in that game, per match prep. Just talk about a game where you're just flying around, being able to make all these tackles and being able to make a big impact.
That was a very crazy game. There was some things that happened that week that didn't go as planned, and I just got the opportunity to step up that game, and I took the opportunity in the playoff game to put the team on my back and show everybody what I'm capable of, and yeah.
And then for you, obviously, one of the big games, everyone, was doubting this Grayson team, early on when you guys lost to Collins Hill. It was a close loss, a game you guys controlled for a lot, but ended up losing. You had 2 interceptions in that game, so what do you remember from that? Same thing, you coming out early, starting. What were some things that was going well for you in that one?
That game, it was the start, so I was kind of expecting to play that much, but not as much. So when I got my first interception, it just felt wow, I'm really here now. So for real, and yeah, when I got that second one, I couldn't even believe I got a second one. He just threw it up to me.
100%. Now, you guys are both products of GFL. I want y'all to talk a little bit about that. Not a lot of people know how great of a program that is, just being able to go through that and being able to be ready for the high school level. So can you guys talk a little about GFL and how that both prepared you guys for the high school level?
GFL prepared me well a bit. I say that the competition it could be iffy. Sometimes you see some guys come out of good guys come out of GFL, and sometimes you just play a team that this is their first time playing. But although GFL is a good program to start off in.
For you, Riley?
The Grayson program is what I experienced the most. Coach Carter and all the other coaches, they was great coaches. They been coaching us since we were 6, so working with them all the way up to 8th grade was great for us in our development, so we could go into high school as good players.
Got you. Now, London, you was just participating. I got a chance to see you at the Under Armour camp. Just what did you enjoy about that experience being there, man, going to get some elite competition here in the Southeast?
Just to see there's still competition out there, really good competition, and know what I'm up against and what's coming and what I should keep working on in my game and what I can improve on, and just a learning moment at the camp and just learning and getting better from it.
For sure. All right, last question before we open it up for some fun stuff. What are you guys going to work on the most this offseason to kind of find your craft? Y'all are next up. Obviously, we know you guys won a state championship this year, but what are you guys are working on the most to be ready so next year y'all can do the same thing?
Really, I'm just working on my craft, getting better at the safety position just in all. Just staying ready. Most definitely putting on more weight. Do whatever I really need to do to just stay on top and stay the top dog.
I'm working on getting in the weight room more, gaining a few weight and, of course, perfecting my craft so I can be as good as I can.
100%. All right, man. So y'all boys ready to have some fun? Yeah. I know y'all feel a little tense, man. Got to open it up, make us smile a little bit, man. All right. So I got a trivia question for y'all. All right. Trivia question. Who was the last defensive back to win Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL before Patrick Surtain won it this year?
You go first.
I'm not really big of an NFL guy, but
I'll give y'all a hint. He played for the Patriots.
Charles Woodson?
No. It's a good guess, though.
What year?
2019.
2019?
Yeah.
And I don't know this? He played for the Patriots that year.
He played for the Patriots that year, won Defensive Player of the Year under Coach Bill Belichick.
Who was on that team?
Y'all give up?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Stephon Gilmore. I don't know if y'all remember him, but yeah, he ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year that year. So thought it was a good question. Actually, since y'all both DBs. Yes, sir. All right, now I want to ask you this. You say you don't watch NFL, so I'm assuming you're more of a college guy. So who do y'all think is the best defensive back currently in college right now? If I had to say.
It's most definitely between I like Kobe Bryant's game and obviously Travis Hunter. I really love his game, the versatility he brings to the game, and the outlook he gives the game of college football now.
I like Will Johnson. He's a physical corner. And I also like Maxwell Harrison. He's underrated.
Talk about that. A lot of people don't know about him.
He's like on the smaller side, kind of underrated corner. He just has good feet, good technique, and all that. So that's what I like.
All right. Now we're gonna play some start, bench, cut. Okay. Y'all ready? Y'all should know all these. Okay. Jalen Ramsey, Patrick Surtain, and we got to go with the best one of all time, Deion Sanders. All right. So start, bench, cut. Lund, I'm starting with you, man.
I'm gonna start Deion Sanders, bench Jalen Ramsey, and then cut the other one.
So you're gonna cut Surtain?
Yeah.
You cutting Surtain? All right.
I'm gonna start Deion, of course.
Okay.
Bench Pat Surtain, cut Jalen Ramsey.
Ooh. Why you cutting Jalen?
He's getting old. He ain't like that no more.
I just like.
He's good, but
I like the energy he plays with.
I like Surtain better.
Like Surtain better. Okay. And you like the energy better. All right, cool. Okay. This is a hypothetical question, but if you guys could change one thing about football, what would you guys change?
Playing one position.
Okay.
I feel like some people, I think I could just play both sides of the football, but just the way we play at Grayson is just you have to pick one side of the ball, unfortunately. But some people I remember how I used to play wide receiver and safety. I used to feed off what I used to get on wide receiver wise and bring it back onto the defensive side, and then just vice versa, and just keep eating on both sides of the ball and let the game carry out.
Okay. What about for you?
I say the tackling. The tackling rules have changed so much. In the NFL, you can't hip drop tackle no more. All that other stuff. If you gotta make a tackle, you gotta make a tackle. I just feel like if you're limiting somebody from making a tackle, it's easier for the offense to do things and score more. So.
100%. Okay, so what is your favorite tradition at Grayson? What do y'all feel like makes the program so different compared to others?
The mentality we bring to the field and what we do off the field. There's so much that plays off the field than what we do on the field when the camera's rolling. How we team bond. Our team was last year. Our team was so close. Everything. Some teams have cliques and stuff. There's little cliques in each different program. But we were all one brotherhood. We was all there was really no there was really no weirdness through our team, and everybody just had a good team bond. And just the mentality everybody brought to the field. Even the freshmen, the sophomores, everybody had to contribute in some type of way in practice and game to come out with a state championship.
Gotcha. What about for you?
One tradition I like is our practices. A Tuesday practice is a competition day.
Yep.
So we do red zone, we do second down, third down, and those practices are always the best practices. Defense turn, offense turn. Red zone is where it gets turned, though.
Yeah.
Red zone is where it gets turned.
Where you get most turned. That's where you show where the dogs at.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's where the dogs are. Y'all heard that right here. So red zone you said on Tuesday, right?
Yeah. Red zone Tuesday.
Red zone on the Tuesday.
Competition Tuesday.
That's where it goes down. Competition Tuesday at Grayson. That's all we got for right now. We're going to have more coming up at the break, so don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to Georgia High School Sports Daily. I'm your host, Najee Wilkins. We got another great guest in the studio for today, Vaughn Meacham of Grayson. He had a spectacular showing this past season. It wasn't just a state championship game. He finished with 32 tackles, 11 PBUs, 3 interceptions. He was phenomenal. But how you feeling today, Vaughn?
Feeling great. I'm feeling great.
Appreciate you.
To be alive. So.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you coming on the program, man. And I want to take you back, man, to a special moment for you, man. Obviously, state championship, you balled out. What was that like, man, being in that moment and winning the state championship for Grayson?
It was crazy. Like, from the time we came out the tunnel, like, the energy was just there. Like, you could feel the stadium just thumping, like, literally moving. Like, man, it was just crazy. It was a fun time, fun experience that I'll never forget.
And then for you, what kind of happened after that game? I mean, you blew up, offers started rolling in like crazy. You showed that you can play up against the top tier team. Y'all been doing it all year, playing Thompson, Collins Hill, Carrollton, and so many more. But what was the recruiting like aspect for you after that game?
It was very fun and exciting. I had 3 going into the championship game, and then I had picked up 7 after the championship game. So it was all glory to God. So ended up getting 7 offers after the championship game, and a lot of coaches were hitting me up. My phone was blowing up, but like I'm telling you, it was blowing up. So it was hard to get on there. Every time I got on there, there was a notification on there. So
Right.
yeah.
All right, and then just talk a little bit about Clark Atlanta, man. Obviously, that's where you're going to go. That's where you're going to go play, obviously, next fall. So what made that the right fit for you? Why did you decide to go there?
I got a lot of support. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my family's in the city. You know, I know a lot of people in the city or whatnot. So it was a big thing where I wanted to stay home, be around family, things like that, and, you know, be around my parents, too. But another thing, I just know coaches there, and I know that they're going to be, like, for me, you know, it's going to be a great opportunity for me to grow and go bigger and do bigger things from there. So.
And then speaking of that, just what was your relationship like building with the coaches there, the defensive back coach, and how did they kind of see you, you know, formulating and fit into their scheme?
Man, they want me. They're man team. They want me. They know I'm a man corner. They want me to come in, play a lot of man for them. You know, I feel like that's the thing they struggled with last year is having corners that could play man. So they end up having to do a lot of zone and coverage and things like that. But they want me to come in and play a lot of man, and that's what I love to do. So.
There you go. What was one of your favorite moments from this past year that you're gonna always remember with Grayson?
Ooh, for sure, it's a championship game, and then it's my first pick I had, our first playoff game. I remember that it was a nice pick. He had ran the court, not the court, but the receiver. He had ran a little stop and go, and then he had ran a comeback off of that, and I just sat on it, read his hips good, sat on it, broke on the ball, and the QB actually ended up throwing a bad ball, but I ended up jumping his route to be able to go jump for the ball and land on the ball and catch the ball for a pick. So that was a good experience. And then championship game, like I said, after that second pick.
Right. I remember being there so you get the second pick.
Like, I'm talking about I caught it. I had tipped the ball, I caught it. And I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like, second like this is happening for real. Like,
right.
Second pick, I ran it back. Flag could have scored, but then my hamstring started giving out. I was like, so I had to slow down a little bit, but man, it was a fun experience though, for real. So
for sure,
I'll never forget that.
For sure. I want to ask you a little bit about just your relationship with the defensive coordinator at Grayson, Coach G. Carswell. Obviously, he's great with the defensive lineman, but what's it like playing under him? Obviously, it looks like he maximizes the potential of all you guys.
What? About every day you walk in the locker room, like it's max effort. Like there's not a rep you can take off, especially around him. Like he gonna get in you. I can't say what I want to say.
He not playing.
He gonna get in you.
Right.
So every day at practice, I'm talking about even when we're doing one-on-ones, like it's compete. Like he better not whoop you. You know what? Like
yeah,
you better win the rep. Every one-on-one rep, you better win. Like that's his motto. Like you better win.
How did going against y'all great receivers also make y'all better? I mean, Alex Sanchez, you got Jonathan Stafford.
Stafford, like, man, and then you got another upcoming one who's a sophomore coming in the junior class. Saif Benwahar, he's
hearing about him.
Yeah, he's really good too. So just going up against them guys, constantly going against Jonathan Stafford and Alex Sanchez, because you know they're on that little island that I'm on. Man, it was just constant battles, and it was fun though, cause you know I like to talk a little bit. So at practice, like
y'all going back and forth.
Yeah, 6 a.m. practices, whether it was 6 a.m.s or 2 p.m. Like it was just back and forth, like just competition. It was fun, especially with Aiden too, cause sometimes he'll come on the island, and like they all them receivers, like you got to be locked in every rep. So.
Got you. I want you to share real quick. We was talking with you before we came obviously on air, but tell the audience a little bit about your hidden talent, man. That you've been cutting hair for about a year and a half. You be lining them up and stuff. Just talk a little about that talent off the field.
So I actually started learning how to cut hair after I got injured. It was a thing where I was like, I had to find something else to do, you know. So I came across cutting hair. I was like, man, it's a good little thing I could do. You feel me? I'm saying, like, cut my teammates up and whatnot. But it was a fun thing I found out to do, learn how to do on YouTube. It was constant being on YouTube, watching people how to cut hair and things like that. But I ended up picking it up after, I want to say, 6 months. I ain't gonna lie, the first head I cut my nephew, I messed his head up. my sister had got mad at me because I had cut his son's hair bad, but now she be coming to me constantly, so I cut him up every week or so.
Now, if the folks want to cut from Vaughn, where can they go?
Shoot, I don't got no Instagram page yet.
You gotta get your business card or something.
I gotta get it up, you know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be up sooner than later. So.
Okay, got you, man. All right, man. I did have some fun questions. I interviewed 2 of your teammates earlier, London and obviously Riley. So I gotta ask you before we obviously let you get out of here, man. Start, bench, cut. Jalen Ramsey, Patrick Surtain, or Deion Sanders?
You talking about Patrick Surtain, the junior or the dad?
No, I'm talking about the one that just won Defensive Player of the Year. I'm talking about junior.
Ooh, this is hard.
Yeah.
Okay, this is hard. All right, I'm gonna start Deion Sanders, you know. You said start, bench, cut.
Start, bench, cut, man.
Ooh, this is a hard one. I'm gonna bench Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cut Pat Surtain.
You'll cut Pat Surtain.
They all, like, don't get me wrong, they is all dogs. Like,
Right.
I watch them constantly on film, so they all dogs. So.
Okay, got you, man. Final thing, I believe we're running out of time. What was your favorite tradition at Grayson as we wrap up?
Favorite tradition, running out that tunnel. Running out that tunnel for sure. You know, we would go to up from the locker room to the tunnel, and you just sit there, folks taking pictures, the little kids looking at you, like the music playing, like you got the rim right there. It was a fun experience. It's like the little kids look up to us, and like you'll see it before you walk on the tunnel. They looking for your hand and everything. Like it was a fun experience.
Nothing like it.
And all the fans, everybody from school lining up before you go out in the field. It's a fun experience.
100%. Well, all right, y'all. That's all the time we got, man. The great Vaughn Mitchell, man. He's as fun and as charismatic as he is on the field, obviously, here in the studio, man. So we appreciate him stopping by. Shout out to Coach Julian Kovar for helping set this up, man. That's all the time we got. We'll see you guys soon.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
Beginning the morning you opened your eyes, we spent every waking moment preparing you for the day you'd leave our nest. Whether it's driving to practice or helping with homework, it's all prepared you for, what am I going to be when I grow up? Will you be ready?
After much thought, I made my decision to take my talents to the IBEW Local 613.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers is not simply a job, it's a career. Visit IBEW613.org to begin a new future today.
We celebrate the athletes, the buzzer beaters, the record breakers, the wins. Now, it's time to celebrate the people behind it all. The advice givers, the community shapers, the game changers, the life changers. It's time to celebrate our coaches. Join all of us at BSN Sports and show your coach some love by sharing their story with #ThankYouCoach.
Are you interested in becoming a deputy or a jailer? The Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office is hiring and looking for individuals passionate about protecting and serving their community. If you are 18 years or older, join our team by visiting gogcso.com for more information. Gwinnett County, together we can make a difference.